Hello, and we are coming to you live from the beautiful studio in California. I really actually did not remember what state we were in.
Really?
A little bit. I don't know. I was trying to think of something. I think maybe I was trying to think of a clever location, like from Mumbai, India.
Oh.
But then I couldn't think of one, so I was like, okay, let's go back home. Where's home? California.
No.
So there you go. That's how I do it.
Interesting.
Well, here on Comics Covered, not in California, but we are in California. Here on Comics Covered, we talk about comic books and the world around them, especially this week for September 4th, 2019, episode 87. We're going to talk spoilers later on some books. I know. You made a face. The number is pretty high up there, right?
Pretty high up there.
It's like... it's just hanging out up here, and it just keeps getting higher. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty old age.
Pretty old aged. I mean, at some point, it's going to be immortal.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Hulk.
Like the Hulk.
But yeah, we're going to talk about some books later. Not later. Pretty soon, actually. Pretty soon coming up here. And we'll warn you about those spoilers. I'm Jack. I am somewhat new to comics. Not really. Who knows?
I'm Samantha. I'm still pretty new, and school is preventing me from reading as much as I'd like to.
Yes.
Getting the weeklies done. But it's been how many months that I've been reading the book that I'm reading?
What book? Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
It's been a while.
I think it's been 2.5 months.
And the last time we mentioned it on the show, I don't think you've read any more past where
No,
you were.
I haven't. I've wanted to so badly.
Yeah. To be fair, you did misinterpret one of your assignments, so you have a lot more time now than you thought you were going to have.
Right. I have an extra 4 days.
So that's pretty cool.
Woo!
What are you going to do with your time? Go to Disneyland?
No, I'm going to work on the next paper.
Cool! Very fun.
Fun time.
I should program in applause right there,
You
so it's not
should.
just me.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, I guess.
It's okay. I'll take the applause where I can get it.
Well, thank you. Awesome. I guess we should point out that since we have done an episode, we took a trip together, and I actually asked my co-host here to marry me, completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, because, we're just co-hosts. We have nothing else going on.
It's a totally professional relationship, and I just kind of sprung it on her.
Yeah, it was really weird.
HR got involved.
Yeah,
it
included a llama, so, animals were involved. It was just really weird.
Not bestiality yet, though.
Not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, we got a dog.
Got a dog.
She's pretty cool. She looks like a cow.
She does look like a cow. She doesn't she's not built like a cow.
She's black and white.
She's
she
black
has
and white.
udders.
Yeah. And it's utterly beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't not make that joke.
So yeah, that was our past 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think we've only missed one episode, actually.
I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been a bit. So, Samantha, if it's been a bit, should we just get right on into our weekly comics?
Yeah. Let us see what our weekly comics were for this week, since we missed so much.
Oh my god, it's been actually crazy, because we've had such large weeks the last 2 weeks.
It was very overwhelming. It was fun, but very overwhelming.
I mean, even the week before this one was so big, and it had so many cool things come out, including what we're going to talk a lot about today, which was Marvel Comics 1000.
Yes.
That's going to be the first thing we talk about. We're just going to kind of go through our favorite stories from that, now that people have probably gotten more of a chance to actually read it since coming out last week. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about that. And then we have some this week that we're going to talk about, including Doomsday Clock, number 11, the penultimate, Legion of Superheroes, Millennium, and also House of X, number 4, by Jonathan Hickman. Other stuff that came out that we might get a mention, who knows. Deceased, A Good Day to Die, Die, number 7, Doom Patrol, which I read, number 3. I'm so sad you don't get to read that yet.
I'll get to it.
Anybody reading Doom Patrol, I hope you share my idea that this is probably one of the best issues that they've written of it. Gerard Way, at least. It was amazing. I loved it. We also got Immortal Hulk, number 23, Justice League, number 31. I wrote this down last week because this past 2 weeks, Justice League came out both weeks.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Then we had Space Bandits, number 3, by Mark Millar and Matteo Scalera. I know. And also the Green Lantern number 11. A lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff.
A lot of exciting times ahead. Including right now, Samantha, do you have a spoiler warning that we can use?
Yes, let's see.
Oh, jeez.
I know, it's scary.
That was really scary. Was
I
there
know.
an animal
Are
in
you
here?
okay?
I'm really okay.
Are you sure?
I'm
sure you're okay.
A little traumatized.
It's okay.
You're just actually taking a class on trauma and crisis. Can you help me out here?
Well, I took all of what I've learned from that class, and now I've put it to how to traumatize someone, and I think I've succeeded with you.
Oh, wow.
Has it worked?
I mean, yeah, totally.
Oh, good.
So you're a PTSD-themed villain now?
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm really working hard at it.
Okay. I love that. We should... Okay, by next episode, we're going to come up with a villain name for you. For that skill set.
That's my skill set.
Yes.
I give people PTSD. But what if I just give them trauma and they're sad and scared, but they don't have the qualifications for PTSD?
Well, they better get the qualifications because that's your skill set. They better stand in line. In fact, that's all you do. You don't steal money. You don't
not at all.
Conquer the world. You just make sure people are exhibiting the symptoms for PTSD after you give them trauma.
Yes.
That's all you do.
I'll take them to counseling and whatever. I'll do that. Just as long as they have it.
That's part of the lifestyle. You're really trying to...
I'm a nice person.
Them. Yeah.
Just,
PTSD.
PTSD.
We're not trying to make light of that, by the way.
Not at all.
Just wanted to make sure. We understand. Never mind. It's great. She's been studying it. It's fun. It's not fun. We're digging ourselves a hole. She's studying it. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
So let's talk about one thing first. You get the spoiler warning. That entire thing was the spoiler warning.
I know.
It's amazing. We're going to talk about that every single time. Okay.
Are we mentioning what was last week?
Do you want to mention everything that was last week? We had a lot of big stuff.
No, I mean...
The big things were like, we had Absolute Carnage number 2 last week. Mm-hmm. We got the Miles Morales tie-in, which the issue wasn't that great, but I can see it might continue into something fun. I don't know. I really liked Ice Cream Man last week.
Ice Cream Man was great.
If anyone's not reading Ice Cream Man, you should get the last 2 issues because they were both standalone completely, and they were some of the...
You should get the last 14 issues.
Every single one. Just go out and do it right now. I mean, I agree.
It's great.
It's fantastic. Every single time. And then last week we also had Spider-Man Life Story, the end of Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley.
I shed a tear.
When did you shed a tear? Do you remember? Was it at the end?
It was right before the end when he...
Spoilers for Spider-Man Life Story, number 6.
Should I make the spoiler sound?
No, you already gave them the spoiler sound.
Okay, I don't want to scare anyone further.
No more trauma.
So, it was when he was dying, and he thought of his love, and... It was very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of happy because, as he was dying, he was talking about how that dream had turned for the better. As if he has now accepted...
But it was so sweet.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. It was just like, aww.
Yeah. Because we've been with this character for a long time now.
Yeah.
Through his 70s, since he was in high school.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a big deal. That was really, really fun. Also, what came out last week was Black Science, which you're reading the trades of currently.
Yeah.
But the one that came out last week was the second to last issue.
Wow.
Nutso butso. So that was a little bit of the highlights from last week. We're going to talk about right now the highlight, the most exciting thing that probably people are still working on finishing because it's a large thing. Mm-hmm. Marvel Comics number 1000, which is not really 1,000, but we're going to call it 1,000 because DC got to 1,000 on 2 titles, and we're not even close to that. So it's Marvel Comics 1000, and shut your mouth. That's what it's called. It's all on the page. Can you see?
It says 1,000, so we're going to call it 1,000.
Yeah. I kind of want to boycott it and just call it the 80th anniversary issue of Marvel Comics.
So call it that.
Thank you.
That makes more sense anyway.
So this was a really cool concept. They wanted to put out a special 80th anniversary, but they don't have any title that went to 1,000, so they just did this. But they did something really cool with it, and I don't know. You read Detective Comics 1000. What did you think of that sort of format where you have just a few stories that are dwelled upon, and then it's just a larger than average issue? What did you think about that in general?
I mean, I really liked it, and then when I read this one, it kind of changed my mind, and I like this one better.
Why was that?
I don't know. It just felt, even though there were random stories thrown in, I liked the the main story that was happening, and then you just felt like you were getting little snippets of other stuff going on, and some were funny, some were really meaningful. It was just a lot that we received, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, while the DC one was really good, I felt fulfilled. I didn't get as much, I think.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think for me, it's like, I appreciate the craftiness a lot more because
it was more creative.
They limited themselves, and that's when you have the most creative stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, sometimes when you have a series, you want it to just be 1 or 2 issues.
Right.
Sometimes when you have a story, it can only be, a page long. And that's really fun to see how writers work with that.
And it's really hard, especially when I saw, before I read it, but I saw that Jonathan Hickman did one.
Yeah.
My first thought was, nah.
No.
This ain't gonna work.
Jonathan Hickman,
No.
Yeah, I don't think he's really that kind of writer. He has this grand everything he does is like a grand opus.
Yes.
And it's like, I could never see him writing a single page.
I feel like he probably, while he writes his other stuff like East of West and this House of X and Powers of 10 stuff, I see him writing those fairly fast.
Yeah.
Getting through it, getting all his information on the page. I feel like this one page took him like 8 hours.
Really?
I really do. I felt like he was
Why?
probably pulling his hair out going, how the hell do I do this? Oh my god, I have so much to say.
Yeah.
And I can just feel his pain with it.
Aww.
Like, just wants to get so much on the page.
Poor Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So sad. But yeah, it really was a weird, strange story. Along with my other weird one that was in here was Jeff Lemire's page, which was just a picture of Cable walking towards camera, what I would call camera, and it has a bunch of little highlights of his scars, and he just writes about the scars. Maybe I'm missing something. Like maybe there's a weird storyline going on.
Well, what you were telling me earlier was that you thought, when you saw that Jeff Lemire wrote one, that he would do well writing like a one-page story.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought so.
I didn't, because I feel like from what I've read from him, he likes to build worlds as well.
Yeah.
Not like an entire planet thing, but an entire family and the emotions within that family. And so, I don't know, having to write one page and put all the emotion that he exudes into that, I feel like it would just kind of be impossible.
I also just realized, by the way, on looking at the page again, this is art and story by Jeff Lemire. He drew this as well.
See, that doesn't look as much like his art.
I think it's because someone else is coloring him. And for books like Royal City,
he does the colors.
He does the colors.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of it, because I didn't notice that. And he has a very distinctive style.
I didn't notice that at all. Yeah, you can always really tell when he draws stuff.
Yeah.
Not.
That makes me feel a little bit better, though, about it, because like they probably said, do a page, and he's like, okay, I'll do it alone, I guess, if you guys need it. And I don't know. It's understandable. I feel like that's a lot of work to put on someone, especially with everything he's doing these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. But those stories were still strange. You were mentioning earlier that you liked Al Ewing's through story about the Eternity Mask. The mask,
yes.
The mask that theoretically, when any mortal man wears it, makes him the equal of any person he is in battle with.
Right.
What do you think of that concept?
I thought it was a really cool concept, but I just love seeing it through time and travel from person to person.
Yeah.
And just see how they used it and how they died, when that one guy was like, no, don't take it off.
Yeah.
Like, he was basically dying and the person was trying to save him. And he was like, no, let me take this off to help you. And the guy died, like, immediately.
Yeah.
It's just, I really liked it. I thought it was very clear.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Did you feel that having it told across, like, so many separate one-page stories made it feel too disjointed to where it wasn't? Okay.
No, and I can understand that, because I feel like normally that would be a very, like, what the hell is going on? I get this, and then I get, 10 stories that have nothing to do with it, and then we go back to it. I didn't feel that way with this. You
felt like there was, like, whenever the Eternity Mask or the people that were looking for the Eternity Mask were there, you were like, okay, so we're getting a little more of this?
Yeah, and I kind of felt like I read the through story, read a couple of the standalone stories, and then I don't know, it was just it felt like I was already with the through story. Yeah, that makes sense, and just like peering over at the other ones.
Yeah,
and then still in.
Okay, no, I can see that. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, no, I really like the idea of the through story, like throughout. Like I think throughout. Sorry, I think Al Ewing did a great job with it, especially working with so many different artists. And I don't know, the weird thing with me is that the Eternity Mask concept seems like there's this thing in DC, a current series actually called Dial H for Hero. You ever hear about this?
No.
Dial H for Hero is sort of a concept that refers to a telephone or a phone of some sort that people, regular mortals in the DC universe, like, it goes around to different people, and when you dial H for hero, you become, like, a random hero with random, like, powers and everything. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, I got the sense that this was sort of Marvel's version of that kind of concept, where, like, people would have the opportunity to feel, like, just better than their, opponents. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I really like this a lot better, honestly, as a concept. I haven't given Dial H for Hero a fair shot, but I just really liked being thrown into this, and I'm excited. I would read what they have left to say about the Eternity Mask, like, in a new event, or however they're leading to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would be...
No, I would too, yeah.
Okay. So, let's talk about some of the other, like, single pages that we really, really liked. There was one... This is going to be mostly in order of beginning of the book to the end of the book. So, if you want to follow along, go ahead, I guess. Our first one that we really liked was this Michael Allred drawn, Joe Hill written Doctor Strange story about him trying to wash the Cloak of Levitation. Yeah.
It was funny because it reminded me of when you try to give a dog a bath and they're just fighting you incessantly and you're just like pulling them, and their claws are just clenched on the floor, and it reminded me of that.
That makes sense. I mean, that's totally the style of it for sure. Yeah. Michael Allred, I'm loving his art. We read him in Ecstatics. Yeah. Do you really recognize that?
Yeah.
Like, he is great at, like, it's goofy looking, and I feel like he can make it more goofy looking depending on when he is drawing. And I'm just really excited to read more from him in general. I know he's been around for a long time. And then we had this page that I really liked. Alex Ross wrote and drew this Hulk page where it was just, I think, 6 different panels of a Hulk looking at someone, and they asked him with a microphone, like, what do you... Something like...
It was like, why do you do what you do? Wasn't that it?
Yes, it was that. What was your worst experience, actually?
Oh, okay.
No. First they ask, why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
Then they ask, what was your worst experience? Then they ask, what do you wish people knew about you? And Hulk is confused through all this. So Hulk comes in.
I don't know if he's confused. He seems just like, I'm not gonna friggin' answer you. Why are you talking to me?
I can see that. And the acting comes across, like, Alex Ross, as much as he's good at just drawing single paintings, he's great at expression as well. And this is just an expression throughout.
Yeah.
So Hulk leans in and he eats the microphone. And then he goes away. I just love it. It's just a nice, simple story. It's great. What's the next one?
The next one was the Little Black Agar Slumberland one by Jonathan Everett and Desmond Lethem.
So I guess they're brothers?
Maybe they're brothers. Maybe one's a father.
Maybe they're cousins.
Maybe they're married and all 3 of them have the last name. I don't know.
Maybe there was like a really ugly divorce, but the guy chose the dad who had that last name still.
I have no idea.
Maybe.
Could be anything.
But, and then art by Paul Hornschmeyer.
Yes.
Cool. Loved Paul Hornschmeyer's style. This was like, it was kind of drawn in the style of Peanuts.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, it was.
And it was all about Black Bolt having this nightmare that he was late for school. And Lockjaw, like, teleports him, and then, who is it? It's the Thing, Doctor Doom, and then Galactus are talking to him. Like,
and they're all dressed in these, like, mother dresses.
Like teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, the end of it, he accidentally talks instead of thinks.
Right.
And then he wakes up, and it's okay. It's nothing, like, crazy, but I love the art style.
It was very creative, very out there, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah. I think it was during the 60s, so it kind of makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Then you really like this one in particular, this next one, right?
Yeah, it was where Galactus was discussing how he harvests, and he was comparing it to being a farmer. And that was by Ryan North and James Harren. Harren?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really, like, he was trying to say, like, look, I'm not a bad guy. I'm doing the same thing that a farmer does. What was he saying? Like, the pigs wouldn't get their food if I didn't do all the necessary things that a farmer does.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's saying, like, you don't really see the behind the scenes. You just see the disaster of it.
It was a really cool
good.
perspective.
And I love things like that, where you take a character like Galactus and break it down to, like, look, I'm not such a bad guy. I'm a good guy.
Sometimes I think about, like, you know, your dog, his name's Teddy, everybody.
You've probably heard him on the podcast.
He's
before.
an 18-pound poodle, and he's a very, very scared boy. I was thinking while I was reading the story about how when we are, like, trying to care for him, like brush him or take out goop from his eyes and stuff like that, he thinks we're trying to kill him. Like, literally murdering him slowly.
And he fights back for his life.
He fights ferociously.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was reading the story, I empathize with Galactus.
Right.
Galactus, like, that's how I feel when we're, like, caring for him.
Like we're saving you from not becoming blind by taking all the stuff out of your eyes.
You think I'm evil, but I will do this because I care for you.
Right.
Now, I don't know if Galactus is doing it because he cares for it. He's just doing it because that's how
he's doing it because he thinks it's the right thing to do, and that will help the universe.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, no, that was a really, really really cool one.
I like that you thought of that with Teddy. That's really cute.
Hey, I mean, he's a part
one
of my
day,
life.
I believe one day he'll think that way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He'll think
maybe
like Galactus.
When he's really old, he'll be like, you know what? Maybe they were helping me. Maybe they're not the bad guys.
What if he becomes the Herald of Galactus?
Oh.
Teddy Bear, the Herald of Galactus.
Oh, Teddy Bear.
He'd be cute. We'll share a picture of him, maybe.
Yeah. The next one was the Star Wars one, which was really random.
I didn't put this on because we liked it. I just thought it was... I know that Disney owns Marvel Comics now. And
I felt like they were like, shit, we have to put it in there. Let's just put this in there.
Yeah. Like, it's just weird to me that almost everything in here is part of a shared universe.
Yeah.
And we're going through decades of, like, different times in those universes, in those characters' lives.
Right.
And this is not in the shared universe, and it's totally out of it. I don't know, it just was weird to me.
But that's why, like, it just feels like it was like, we gotta place this somewhere. We'll just put it here.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I'm wondering if they needed, like, needed to find big things for each year, because I felt they were grasping at straws at some point. Like,
for some of them, yeah. The later ones, I feel like. I feel like a lot of the earlier ones I enjoyed much more.
They're like first appearances, they're like this, but then it's like the Iron Man movie came out.
Right.
Or like Iron Man and Doctor Doom fight.
Right.
Like, okay. I don't know. The next one we really liked was The End of the Day. Speaking of those two, Tony Stark and Doctor Doom are in a fight together, and maybe this was even the one that was about that, but it was fantastic.
It's by Donald Mustard.
Written and drawn by Donald Mustard.
Yes.
Do you think he ever puts D. Mustard as like his name?
That'd be really cool.
You can read it as Dijon.
Oh, I would love that.
Isn't
If that was my name, I would totally do that.
In a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Take some notes, Donald. But this story was about Tony Stark and Doctor Doom. They were in a battle for something, and Tony Stark lost. Too bad. But it showed them at the end of the day going home, and Tony Stark returning to friends and celebrating that he's alive, I guess, maybe. And then
I think it was more so just like...
having a normal day.
Having a normal day, but also the fact that he's the good guy, so he's liked by everybody.
Yeah. And Doctor Doom just slowly, lonely, sitting in a throne.
Even though he won.
Yeah.
But because he's the bad guy, or viewed as that, he doesn't have anyone around. It was very, very sad.
Did you know that Doctor Doom is the dictator of a country called Latveria?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why he has a throne there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering.
Yeah. He didn't just make a throne for himself and just sit
I was like, this is his house, he just has a throne? Cool.
I mean, I guess he does have a throne, but he is actually the king.
Yeah.
King? I'm not sure they call him the king. Oh, who knows? The next one I really liked, this was the Prince of Power Returns, about Hercules, by David Mandel and Butch Geis, Do you recognize that name? The artist Butch Geist?
No.
He is the artist on Invaders who does all of the flashback art.
Oh.
He's my favorite art on Invaders. He does great art here too. This is, I don't know who it is, but someone is announcing Hercules onto stage. And Hercules keeps interjecting with things they want him to mention, such as the fair maidens that he's so slain. It was very funny.
It was very funny.
I was a large fan of it.
Yeah.
The next one that was really, really fun was The Big Bounce by Ed Brisson and Jorge Fornes.
And who was the character in that again?
That's a really good question. I have to look at that because I think it's a very small one. Do you want to talk about what happened in it, though?
Well, the character which Jack is looking for.
Speedball. This is 1988.
What is
Speedball
it? He trips?
Makes his premiere in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 22. Yeah, he
just like trips.
He's in New York on a crosswalk, busy crosswalk, and he just trips, and there's this spack of like balls going everywhere, and he's
just bouncing off buildings and going everywhere, and people are like, "Get out of the way!" And
he's like, "What if
sorry, oops, sorry.
What if I can't ever stop? I can't wait." Like it's just all this stuff. I don't know. And he's still bouncing at the end. I thought they were going to keep having him pop up throughout the whole thing again.
But it kind of made me feel like, what if that was my life? What if I just started bouncing off buildings and I couldn't stop?
Oh God, perpetual bouncer.
Yeah, that would just be really strange.
It'd be torture, honestly. At some point, you have to hit something that's going to injure you.
I mean, I'm sure he stops, but I feel like this happens to him a lot. Like, He's just like going to the market. Yeah. And he's holding his bag of groceries, coming home, and he just falls down.
Oh, God damn it.
God damn it, not again.
Oh my
I really wanted to make that lasagna tonight. It's not going to happen now.
Not going to happen. It's Taco Bell again. Or Olive Garden.
Oh, yeah, they have that deal now. Buy one, get one to take home.
Lasagna or entrees in general?
Entrees in general, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
This message brought to you by Olive Garden.
Yeah.
We totally don't hate it there. Sorry.
They have good breadsticks.
They're good. Except you can't get soup anymore, those bitches.
I know.
Sorry. Tangent. Going on. Bloodbath is our next.
Oh yeah,
really
this
fun
one was one of my favorites. It was The Punisher and Wolverine. What was it after they've gone through a battle?
I don't
Why were
think
they just sitting there?
I think they're staking out.
Okay, yeah. They were staking out something, and they're talking about bath bombs and how they really love taking baths with bath bombs, and it was just so cute.
I love baths with bath bombs.
Yeah, bath bombs are the best. Everyone should go to Lush and get all the bath bombs.
Don't feel weird about it. It's okay.
No, it's really fun.
It's really fun. We're not trying to trick you.
No.
It actually is fun.
Yeah.
Don't get one with glitter in it.
No,
be careful
of
that.
No.
It's very important. Wolverine wouldn't like one with glitter in it.
Right.
By the way, I didn't talk about this. Do you recognize Jorge Fornes, who did the Speedball?
Yeah, but I don't recognize his art.
He did the art on Daredevil last issue, where it was a much different art, and there was that action scene in the detective thing.
Oh, that makes sense, because the action scene in this was great. The bouncing.
The bouncing was great.
It was done really well.
And then Bloodbath is written by Jason Aaron, who currently writes Avengers. He wrote that whole War of the Realms thing that we didn't read.
Okay.
He's very good, usually. I like him. Monsters.
That was my favorite.
Is your favorite?
Favorite.
This is by Kelly Thompson, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Pepe LaRose, who is also currently drawing House of X.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about this?
I mean, this relates back again to my dog Teddy, with how vicious he is. So, it's the story is about this woman, and what is she talking about? Saying like really intense stuff about battle and...
Yeah, like if you're gonna start shit, I'm gonna put you down and stuff like that. Or something like that, right?
No.
I thought it was that. Am I forgetting?
I think so.
I know it's really intense stuff. And then the big reveal at the end. Here we go. So she's saying, you have to understand, the world is big and very, very dangerous. Oh, she's talking about how the world is really dangerous.
Yeah.
To something. And she has, like, meat over a fire looking intense with a shotgun.
And then you see that the... thing that she's talking to is her little pet shark who's eating a bone.
Yeah.
And she says to him,
I will kill anything that tries to hurt you.
And that's literally how I feel with Teddy.
Yeah. I understand.
So I thought, aww. That little shark is Teddy.
Aw, he's a shark.
He's a shark.
Very cool. Better than that shark song that babies listen to.
Oh, yeah. It was cute, and then it got annoying.
Was it cute?
The first time my little cousin played it, it was cute hearing him sing it. Then it got really annoying because everyone's singing it now.
Okay. Well, that was Marvel Comics 1000. Whew.
Yeah, it was a lot to get through, but it was very enjoyable.
It was. It really was. I really liked it.
It was really creative.
Yeah. I think you have to get in the right mindset for it, to really, enjoy it. Like, you have to think, okay, there's going to be literally 80 different stories.
Yeah.
Not literally 80
No,
different
because
stories.
you have the
Al Ewing through story.
Right.
That's right.
So I feel like as long as you just focus on that and then, enjoy the little side stories, it's easier to do rather than trying to focus on each thing one at a time. I don't know.
I know, I can feel that. I can understand that. Let's move on into one of our books from this week. We have Legion of Superheroes Millennium by Brian Michael Bendis, drawn by many people, including Jim Lee, Dustin Wen, Andrea Sorrentino, and someone Araujo. I don't remember his first name. Andre Lima Araujo. There we go.
Cool.
A lot of superstar artists on this. People that we love. Jim Lee, Andrea Sorrentino, Dustin Wen. We know all of them, and they are amazing.
Yeah.
No difference here. What did you think of Legion of Superheroes Millennium?
It was really interesting. I mean, the front cover, I think, is really cool. It just reminds me of the front cover of what a video game would be like.
I would want definitely a thing without the writing and everything, a thing on the wall of this.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah, so I really like the character Rose Thorn.
Rose
Ann Thorn.
Her, I guess her human name is Rose Forrest, which I didn't know.
Rose Forrest, but she is Rose Ann Thorn.
Yes.
So I really like the opening.
I explained to you what Rose and Thorn were at the beginning, before reading this, because Brian Michael Bendis has been using her in Action Comics. And
I'm not reading that, so...
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
I didn't know her before that. So, yeah, I was explaining, she's this Jekyll and Hyde where she goes between regular human and superpowered vigilante.
Yeah. So, yeah, when this opened, she's talking to Supergirl.
Yeah. But
in the future, so Supergirl's old, and she's also the president. But it was just a really cool concept where Rose Forrest talks about her alter ego Thorn and how there was medication that she was taking to keep Thorn at bay.
Yeah.
And now, since there's a procedure or something done so that people born nowadays won't have that happen to them, the medication is being discontinued. And she has just lived on and on and on and doesn't seem to die or age.
Can you imagine, living with someone, marrying someone?
I can't even imagine.
And you just don't seem to age and they just die at some point?
I can't even imagine. But I think this, you can just feel how scary it is of, she's, she isn't dying, and now they've discontinued this, and there's no way to keep her alter ego who kills people at bay.
Yeah.
So she's freaking out.
I think she said she's going to be so mad.
Yeah. She's genuinely terrified at what's going to happen.
And if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I think they were building it up a little bit, a lot, and I didn't really feel like it hit as hard.
It didn't. And I was so excited at the beginning.
I thought she was going to, tear shit up.
Right. And then
Thorn.
What does it go to?
It just goes to the next...
And then she's just kind of, beating up on some people and the current Batman.
So that's Batman Beyond.
Batman,
he is a futuristic Batman that's alive when Bruce Wayne is 90 and Bruce Wayne helps him out. So yeah.
Yeah, so she just starts beating up on people. Batman Beyond comes down.
She's just Thorn now, just killing people.
Right.
I thought she was gonna blow shit up.
Right. I thought it was gonna be a lot more holy shit.
It's a big deal that you suppressed me for this long.
Yes, but it just kind of seemed like this girl just beating people up.
Yeah.
Nothing we haven't seen. And what is it? She has this egg thing?
Yeah, she has some egg that
she touches Batman Beyond with.
It must be some technology, because don't they say that stuff is expensive or something like that?
I don't know.
She knocks him out, she shocks him, and she takes him away, thinking that he is Bruce Wayne, apparently. Right. But she's sad to learn that he is just a, quote, bat baby.
Right.
That doesn't know any better.
Right.
So she has to keep going.
Yeah, so she just kind of leaves him there. What happens next after that?
After that, we have Andrea Sorrentino drawing this time where Kamandi, who's a character I do not know that much of. I just know he's in an apocalypse world, and he is blonde hair and a loincloth. And they have Superman's cape.
Yeah.
Outfit. This one didn't hit as hard for me, but I love Andrea Sorrentino's art.
Right.
So she basically just steals Superman's cape.
Well, she kills the guy who has it and owns the area, the ape guy, and just takes it, and then puts it on and is surprised to find out that she doesn't obtain the powers when she puts it on. Then what happens?
That was it. Oh, she finds this huge building, I guess, and goes in here. This must be where she was hiding, because I think that's it. I think she just brought it to where she was...
Yeah.
Some large structure.
Yeah.
And then she is somewhere on a different planet or something, it looks like. Get me the hell off this planet. I like this art a lot, too.
The art was really, really good for what it was. I think the humorous interaction between her and this, service guy, customer service guy.
Yes. Their interactions were fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is Rose or Thorn. Oh, it's Rose. Because she says...
It's Rose and she's talking about Thorn.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not feeling the consequences from suppressing her for so long. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
It doesn't seem like she's lost her marbles.
And it
really doesn't.
They made such a big deal about it.
The first part, I feel like, should be taken, and the rest of it should just be, put away. And you should just, take the first part and then build off of it, and it should just be very powerful. And, it just feels like a waste of that first part to me.
Yeah. I liked this issue. And I think that's the last thing too. Yeah. she's escaping the future place. I like this issue in general, but I was a little underwhelmed based on how much the stakes felt. It doesn't feel like there are any stakes here.
No.
Not even for our main character who we're following. And while I like it, I didn't hit that hard. I'm going to read the next one.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to read Brian Michael Bendis' Legion of Superheroes, but this is probably nothing like it. Anyways.
Right.
I don't know. Would you say that was similar to what you think? Or
I definitely am gonna do the same.
Yeah.
I just really wish, like I said, they could redo it and just take that first part and build off of it, because I really love that first part.
Yeah.
Really got me excited and ready for her to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Because we really didn't have a character story for Rose at all. Mm-hmm. They haven't built anything past, a story or two. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's sad, but I really liked it nonetheless. It was good. So let's move on to something that we both enjoy as well. Doomsday Clock.
The penultimate
issue, 11 of 12. Samantha, did you know that this series has been coming out since November 2017?
Yep. Almost
2 years ago.
Yep.
That is when we started doing weekly episodes of this podcast.
It's crazy.
Episode 1. And now we're going to get 12, I think in let's be honest, it's probably going to be December.
Yeah.
But what did you think of this issue? You just read this today, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
It was a lot of stuff going on. I liked Alfred reading the stuff about Rorschach.
Yes.
And then, going back to, what's his name? The guy who...
Ozymandias?
No, the guy who, in jail, he goes and visits...
Rorschach?
Yes, the guy who's
Malcolm Long's son.
Yes, Malcolm Long's son. He goes and visits him, and he just apologizes, and he's like, "You were right. I read the thing from Rorschach." And what happens? We get the marionette.
Yeah.
Well, the mime.
Well, they are going here. Ozymandias is talking about how he's glad that he brought them and everything, and to convince John to not do anything.
Right.
But we also have a action scene with them where they just happen upon the comedian.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
That was kind of weird, and then he's just not there anymore.
And to be perfectly frank, I don't know what they really said about the mime marionette. There's not much...
Well, no, I think the only thing they said was that she was pregnant, and that John had seen the comedian kill a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
So his, the way that he perceived murdering a pregnant woman must have been skewed because of that.
Yeah. I can see that. But yeah, this issue, I feel like this series up until this issue has felt really, I don't know, a lot of different stories going on, but they've all felt really disconnected to me. Like, there's this whole overarching thing about the Superman theory and America amassing superheroes.
Well, and they kind of they say that actually did happen in this issue.
Yes,
they confirm it.
Yeah, and that's a big piece of it.
It's like, a huge piece of this.
I feel like focusing on that really brings this entire story together because it's, you know, it's what Ozymandias is sort of exposing so that this world goes into chaos.
Right.
It's what Wonder Woman and Black Adam are at odds with at the United Nations right now. You know, everyone is affected by it. Superman was affected by it because he put his name behind Firestorm, because that's ultimately what fucks everything over right now. So,
and he confirms that Bubastis set off the explosion
that turned people into glass.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. And it ends then with Superman getting, I guess,
he gets taken in by people, right?
Well, no, he leaves the hospital that he was injured in, and he rushes. Was he hit by someone? Oh, he was hit by Black Adam, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like. And then he was hit into the road down the lane, and then comes into contact with Dr. Manhattan, and they're going to talk next issue.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Lex Luthor found all of John's photographs lying around and was able to track him with those. So I guess the Indestructible Man has a weakness.
He does.
But yeah, do you think this series is too much? Do you think you're going to have to reread it when the last issue comes out? Because I think
I'm definitely going to have to reread it. Well, when you throw so much at us and then not give us any more information for, 4 or 5 months, it's really hard to remember everything.
Yeah.
So, like in this sense, I'm going to reread it, and then probably, again, I'm going to reread everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you read Watchmen to Doomsday Clock all the way through one more time? Would that be...
If I had time, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, definitely. If I had the time, I would.
I mean, why not do a reread of Watchmen, you know?
It's so good.
That's really what you gotta ask yourself.
Yeah.
We still have to watch the movie soon.
I know. I heard there's a lot of blue penis.
There's lots of blue penis. It's great. It's great. And one of the most...
A plethora of blue penis.
Plethora. And one of the most uncomfortable sex scenes in all of television, on all of cinematic history.
Really?
I think so, at least. It probably isn't worse than The Room with Tommy Wiseau, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty awkward. Yeah. It's fun. Well, let's give Marvel some love as we end off here. We read this week House of X number 4. The second concurrent week where a House of X comes out, because 3 came out last week.
Yeah.
So, what happened to this issue? You just read this before sitting down to record.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, again, it was a lot, but it was one thing happening where they're trying... What is this called? The mother mold?
The mother mold,
The mother mold and the things that are attached to it. I forgot what those were called.
They're like clamps.
Yeah, so the mutants have a plan where they're going to go in and detach all the clamps from the mother mold. They get 3 done, and then shit happens.
Someone comes out to stop them. Someone overpowers whoever has the other one. This woman, the woman with the robot arms.
The woman with the robot arms and her boss. I forgot who she was, but the short blonde-haired woman whose husband... It was like her and her husband run this ship.
Yeah. And
her husband committed suicide when he realized he was going to lose everything, I guess. And then Scott... gets stopped. Oh, yeah, Scott was the one who was going to do the last one, I guess. He gets stopped by her. And then does she kill him?
Yeah, a lot.
So he's just dead?
They all die.
Did this really happen?
This really happened.
So then they're going to start the next X-Men series
with
them dead?
Well, remember, this is all happening in Moira McTaggart's 10th life. And they were talking about how if she makes the right choice, she's going to be able to have 11 lives. I still hold that my prediction for this is that this is all happening in the 10th life, and the 10th life is going to end at the end of these series. Then, Jonathan Hickman's going to start his new X-Men series, and it's going to be her 11th life. Or a life without her.
And you think that they'll be alive?
I think they'll be, because it'll just be another life for her. It'll go on.
But even though it's a life for her, how is it a life for everyone else?
because if she survives, then they basically all have another chance because she kept all her memories. We could be living in her memory of her 10th life right now, is basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
She has this and knows how to act with it in mind.
Right.
And all the shit going down in this life is what she's going to take with her to learn in her 11th life.
Okay.
Just like she did with her 9th life in this one, how she learned in Powers of 10 that when Nimrod came about. You remember?
Right.
So they do succeed, though. They're able to get Nimrod to not come online.
Right.
He's like just able to get on. He's like says some things about like destroying all mutants and shit. Then he falls into the sun slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to say that this issue is my favorite artistically.
Oh, really?
I think the art, I really enjoyed it most of all the issues.
I think the color scheme in space with the sun in the background, I think that's probably what makes it special for me. Because, I don't know, I'm for some reason a sucker.
It's just that too, but like all the colors. There's so many colors used.
I'm a sucker for seeing like reflective colors like this. I'm pointing to like one of the machines has a reflection coming off them. It's not like a reflection. I mean like light is coming off of it and it looks shiny. I don't know. Yeah. When you think of make something look shiny, and Pebble Rise does this so well, I think that's really, really cool. Well,
and the big shot of the mother mold with the light reflecting off the blue light, reflecting off, it just looks like paint, and it's so cool. It's very nice.
So, I don't know. It seems to be two kinds of issues with Jonathan Hickman's X-Men so far. He's had issues where they're kind of going over a bunch of different stories all over the place, and some issues where it's just one event or one scene that they have to get done.
Right.
And that's it. I personally enjoyed the ones where he's focused, which is...
I do too. The other ones, it's so hard to comprehend and enjoy at the same time, honestly. Yeah. I mean, after you discuss and fully understand it, you can enjoy it, but...
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot, and I'd rather just read it and enjoy it.
But I do also think that these issues, where it's simple and brings everything right here and tells you this is important right now, I think that sometimes brings great context to the more chaotic ones.
It does.
For example, in the first issue of House of X, this whole mission is because they stole a data chip in the first issue of House of X, from that random place. Yeah. That was just one of these little stories that they did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I understand the style that he wants to write it in. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week. We wanted to mention also a new series that we had this week.
Yes.
What is it called? Something is Killing the Children.
Yeah, by James Tinney and the Fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a new horror series.
From Boom.
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 Oh, good.
It was really fantastic, and it reminded me of Witches by Scott Snyder. Yeah. And it just was a horror issue really done well.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been trying to find a horror series.
Yeah.
And each one has just not done it for us.
Because, I love Gideon Falls. I love Ice Cream Man, but they're different horrors. This is like...
We want straight horror murder.
Yeah.
Constant like that, like Witches was.
Well, for example, we just last week tried to start a new series called Bad Reception by Wan Do. I don't know if that's a pen name. Probably is.
Yeah.
But it was it's billed as a slasher story, and I was like, okay, I love those. I love that shit.
I feel like it would have worked better as a movie, honestly.
Yeah. It just wasn't, there wasn't anything special about it. I didn't feel like the art was very special. I didn't feel like the story or the characters at all were special. I really didn't care about the characters. In this, I already care so much about the characters that have been introduced. They're all so interesting, and Something is Killing the Children.
You know what was interesting also? The female character in it.
This badass monster hunter that comes into town.
Her eyes, the way her eyes were drawn, did they remind you of
anime?
Something? No.
They
reminded me of the guy who draws Little Bird. The eyes looked exactly like that.
Yeah, I can see that. No, I can see that absolutely.
I know it's not him. But
Bertram.
Yeah, Ian Bertram. It just, the eyes reminded me exactly of that.
I think it's probably because, they were really big eyes.
They were.
And they were, pointy. So I got the idea that it was almost like an anime character that was being drawn. Mm-hmm. Actually, it kind of is a little bit of an anime style in general, because I feel like the main kid, this kid with glasses who witnesses his friends get murdered by this creature in the woods... That's what this story is about, by the way. He looks a little anime, too, with his shiny glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I can totally see that comparison, absolutely, with Ian Bertram. But that was really, really great. I'm really happy that was good. Like you said.
I feel like we got a win on the horror front.
Absolutely.
I really do.
And now we just need Scott Snyder to come back with Witches.
Yeah.
Volume 2 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's about going to do it for this week. We kind of went over all the big books that came out. I mean, there were a lot of other big ones, but we didn't cover them. So, hey, if you want to talk about them, just tell us. Talk about this series. Do this one.
God damn it. Choose this one.
Exactly. And you can do that on a comment, a review, or star rating on iTunes, which we like. We like a lot. So pretty please give us those. I want to thank you for listening so much. If you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us with your mouth or with your mouse. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back next week, or better yet, subscribe to the podcast feed and never have to think about it. Valuable content. Would you like to continue? Or I can continue.
You can continue.
I will continue. And you can do that on many podcast apps like
iTunes,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
Google Play Music.
Yeah.
So you did that like back and forth? That's pretty cool. Choreography right there.
Yeah.
So whichever one you prefer, we've got you
covered.
You can also find web archives of all our previous episodes, all 86 of them, at comicscovered.libsyn.com and on our YouTube channel. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, totally posting a lot these days. Not. Sorry, I'll get back there. Under the handle at comicscovered. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message on social media or email to comicscovered@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening. I am a microphone. This has all been spoken through me.
And I am Lockjaw.
Oh.
Woof.
Where'd you go?